Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Cassandra. I'm an Atlanta-based real estate agent, also the owner of KDM Real Estate. I am here today to talk to you about getting prepared to purchase a property. So first things first, I want you to ask yourself why you want to buy a house or any kind of property. I think knowing why you want to do something can oftentimes help determine how you navigate it. So for instance, if you want to buy it as an investor, or if you're buying it as your starter house, or if you're buying it to expand a family, all of these things can determine what you need to do during the process. Once you know your reasons for wanting to purchase a property, I think that it is a lot easier to move forward to the next step, which is figuring out where you are financially. I 100% recommend taking a look at your credit report to see what's on it, to make sure that what's on it matches with what you know should be on it. If there are any errors, I definitely recommend fixing those errors. But if there aren't any errors, then I think that the next step should be moving on to talk with a lender. Even if you have credit challenges, I still maintain that talking with a lender is always significantly better than playing the guessing game of what should I do to get prepared? Should I pay this off? Should I do this? Should I do that? Even if you're not going to be ready for another year, I still think sitting down and talking with the lender allows you to get the feedback that could help you be better prepared for, say, 6 months or a year down the line. They're going to tell you exactly what you need to do instead of going the route of talking to a credit counselor or a credit repair company. Now, I'm not against them. I just like to go straight to the horse's mouth. And here's the catch with some of the credit repair companies. Oftentimes, they dispute everything and everything falls off your credit and your score shoots up. And then you go talk to a lender, and the lender looks at a completely different credit report and they see all the things that were disputed, and they have to wait for it to come out of dispute for them to count whether or not that debt is going to be for you or against you. I recommend not even going down that road, just go strictly to the lender. The lender will let you know what you need to do if there's something you need to pay off or if there's something that you don't have to pay off. Oftentimes there's debt from a certain amount of years ago the lender's not even really paying attention to, and here you are thinking you have to pay it off or you need to go talk to a credit counselor. I just don't want you to waste your time, and if you want to buy, I want you to take advantage of some of the amazing rates that we're currently experiencing. Once you have figured out what's going on with your credit, I think the next step is to talk about cash and how much you've saved to be prepared. I think a great rule of thumb is to know that you should have about 6%, which would account for your cash down payment as well as your cash for closing costs. Now, your down payment usually is fixed. It's going to be a set amount based on what down payment route you go with the lender. Depending on your loan product, you could have 3.5%, 3%, 5%. 10%, 20%, no percent. It just depends on what product you go with. Knowing what product you go with is going to be a whole myriad of things. It could be up to your debt to income ratio. It could be left up to where your credit score is. But that's why I say talk with the lender. I said before, 6% is a great rule of thumb or more. I 100% recommend having more, but 6% saved is great. If you don't have it, there are lots of programs. Usually, if you talk with a local lender or a local real estate agent, they can point you in the right direction. There are lots of down payment assistance programs. I would definitely recommend sitting down and talking with an agent to determine what works best for you, or talking with a lender to see what products they have for down payment assistance. We've talked about your credit picture. We've talked about how much cash you need. And then I think the next step is making sure that you don't mess it up. Some of the things that you can do to mess it up is doing cash deposits. And this is, I would say, about 60 days or so prior to being prepared to purchase. So you now know, okay, I want to be in my house by this date. So 60 days prior to that, you want to make sure that your bank is not being overdrawn. You want to make sure you're not doing cash deposits. And yes, that includes Cash App, Venmo, and all of the other ways that we now send each other money. The reason behind it is because the lenders need to source where all of the money is coming from. They are obligated by the Patriot Act Two, make sure that they source where all cash is coming from. So if it's not coming from your direct deposit, if it was not in your bank account prior to the 60 days, then the lender is going to take issue with it. So you want to make sure you're getting on top of those things immediately and stopping. You don't want to create any new debt. No new furniture cards, no new cars to match your new pretty house. You want to make sure you've got all of those things in line until after you close. So you can go crazy. I don't recommend it, but just wait until after you close. The next step would be, once you have figured out your financial picture, you've got your cash, now it's time to get super serious and find your property. You want to make sure you have enough cash on hand to pay your earnest money. Your earnest money typically is about 1% of the purchase price. It can be anywhere from 1 to 3%. You want to make sure you have that in cash on hand. You also want to make sure that you have enough cash for your appraisal, which is usually around $500. And you want to make sure that you have enough money for your inspection. Your inspection can range anywhere from $300 to about $500, maybe more, just depends on the property. Now that you have your cash in hand and all of your things in place, I would get all of my financial stuff in order and then start talking with an agent. Pretty much that's a rundown of getting prepared to purchase a property. Everybody's situation is different. Investors going to navigate the process a lot different than someone buying as a first-time home buyer, or someone who has a property to sell is going to be completely different than an investor or a first-time home buyer. Definitely sit down and talk with an agent, but getting control of your financial picture, knowing where you are, making sure you have enough cash saved up can definitely put you in a good position to be able to purchase. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have 20% down to be able to purchase. You just have to be prepared and take the necessary steps to be prepared. That's it. I would like to thank you for tuning into my channel. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.